Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble this little guy. Now here's what happens. This is a one piece mini album. So this is one piece of 12 by 12 paper, and you pull this little belly band off like that, and you open him up, and look what he does. I'm going to move it where we can see the whole thing. These little flaps open up like so, okay? These little guys right here come down like this, so you can put photos here. You have all of this space. This is a pocket in the middle, and then when you turn it over, you have all of these spaces on the back as well for photos. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and like I said, it's one sheet of 12 by 12 paper, so let's get started. So for today's album, I'm going to use purple paper. I think this will be pretty. And I want to show you this. I've made this PDF for you guys, which I will share on my blog, which will be in the post below, okay? This is the one sheet mini album instructions for the scoring and the cutting of the papers. It does not carry over into the decorating, okay? It's only the scoring and the cutting. So here you'll get your score marks for one direction, your score marks for the other direction, and then over here you'll find out what to cut, when, and where. So I'm going to walk you through that, and it'll make more sense, but when you get ready to make one of these, you can go print that little sheet out and you'll be ready to go. So your first score marks happen like this. You're going to score at 3 7/8, and remember 7/8 is 1/8 back from 4. So 3 7/8, you've got 4 right here, come one click back, we'll call it a click. Now your next score is 4 1/8, so we're going to go 1/8 away from 4, that way. Your next score is 7 7/8, so you're going to go 7 7/8. Your next score is 8 1/8, just like this. And now you're going to turn this in your scoreboard. So I'm going to turn mine this way. So this is going to be the top of my little mini brag book right here against the edge. So this first score mark is going to be 2 inches. So I'm going to score at 2. Okay. Then the next mark is going to be 7 inches. And then the last mark is going to be 10 1/2. Now it's important that you remember the top from the bottom, and here's how you'll know. The top is the 2-inch score, not this inch. What is this, 1 1/2 at the bottom? So the 2 inches is your top. So when you take this out and look at it, that 2 inches is where the top of the book is, and then this 1 1/2 is the bottom. Okay, so now let's get to trimming. As part of this PDF I'm giving you, you can see here this little section. This tells you what to cut. So everything that is blacked out, you will cut away. It's not a whole lot, but it's easier to see it that way. So I'm going to cut these pieces away, starting with the bottom. So the first section, according to my PDF, is this one. So I'm going to make some slices here. I probably should use my longer scissors, but this will work. We'll get it done just like that. Then I'm going to cut up this line, and the PDF shows you, and I'll lay this down when I finish so you can kind of look at it. You could freeze the shot and be able to come back to it. I'm going to cut all the way up this line. And then I'm going to cut this piece away. So I'll just pick it up and snip it off. So there's the first cut, okay? And now I'm going to come to the other side and do the same thing. I've changed my scissors. I'm going to use my long scissors to get up in there easier. Okay, so there is the second cut, so you can see how that bottom looks, all right? And then we're going to go to the top. And at the top, I can use my little scissors again because we're just cutting a little small section. These little guys come out. So let me lay this here for you to see it. So here's what you end up with. You have your 2-inch section at the top. This is the 2-inch score mark, okay? And we cut those little gaps out. At the bottom, this is your 1 1/2 difference, and we cut these gaps and these away, all right? So now this guy is ready for the next step. Now, based on my album, I want to show you this. I'm going to lay my album here so that you can see what it's looking like. It makes more sense this way. So this is how the album lays out. This piece flips up and folds down to create this pocket. But here's what I want to show you. I rounded the edges of my album. Can you see how they're rounded here? This is when you want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get my corner rounder, and I'm going to round all those edges. And I'm going to round every edge I can get to, basically. If there's a square, we're going to round it. We'll start in this corner, go to this one, and then these as well. So now you can see I have all of those rounded and all of the bottom rounded. So now we need to cut those pieces that lay on top of here. And I want to show you one more thing. I don't want this to be confusing when you go to make it, so I want all of this to make perfect sense. At the top, you're going to see here that we have 2 pieces laid on top of this. You don't have to do 2 pieces. You can do your matte piece like this, and then you can just do a solid white piece if you prefer to put your photo on. So for example, here, I did 3 mattes. I did a black matte, the second matte, and then the white for the photo. The white is really just to kind of be the place card for the photo. I don't think you need to add this piece. You just want to do the outside and the inside, and then the person will put the photo here. But when I was doing this for a class, I wanted it to make sense what it was for, so that's why I added that page. So the measurements I'm going to give you are for this black matte and then that one inside matte. So let's do those cuts. I'm going to use black paper again for my mattes, and I want to show you. The first thing we're going to cut are the trim cuts. That is the black that's on my blue album that I did. So you're going to start with 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper, okay? And we're going to make 4 strips of 3 5/8. So let me show you how that works. So because I want 4 strips, I'm going to leave my 2 pieces of paper stacked on top of each other. I'm going to take this into my trimmer, the 11-inch side up, and I'm going to cut it to 3 5/8. And I'm going to do that twice. So there's 2 pieces, and then let's cut this to 3 5/8. 2 more pieces. So to make that make sense, remember I had stacked 2 pages. I end up with 4 pieces when I'm done. And this is what I'm going to need to cut those mattes. So I take these 4 pieces and I can stack them up. I can cut 4 pieces in my trimmer. If you can't, just stack them up with 2. Now you'll notice on this little sheet that I give you, there's a stack of numbers. This is what you're going to cut right here. Quantity 4 in this size, quantity 4 in this size, and quantity 4 in this size. I want this to make sense. So here's the deal. When you take this, it is a 3 5/8 wide piece of paper or cardstock. There's 4 of them stacked up. Your first one gets cut at 1 3/4. So I'm going to put that in at 1 3/4 and cut. Now this is an important part. The pieces we just cut are these trim pieces. So these black pieces on the 2 sides. Because we put a gusset in the middle, this section is smaller. So these trim pieces are going to come from the paper where it says middle trim. So we're going to cut those black pieces again, but we're going to cut them down to the middle trim sizes. So now we'll do that. Now this time we only need 2 pieces of the black cardstock that are 3 1/2 wide by 11 long. So I took 1 piece of 8 1/2 by 11. I cut 2 strips at 3 1/2, and this goes into my scrap pile. Now I can stack these on top of each other and do my other cuts. I need 2 pieces that are 1 1/4, and all of this is on the paper for you. It's on the PDF, so you'll be able to get it, okay? So I need 2 pieces like this. So by cutting them stacked on top of each other, I get those 2. So I'll put those into a pile. Then I need 2 pieces that are 1 3/4. So I'm going to slide down to 1 3/4. Cut that. There's those 2 that I will need for the matting. Then I need 2 pieces that are 3 1/4. So I take this and put it at 3 1/4. Save those. And then lastly, 4 3/4. So I take this guy, line him up to 4 3/4, and he is just exactly right. Okay? So we'll just put him aside. So far, we've only used 3 pieces of solid color cardstock for those mats. Very good. Now then, let's get these ready to put onto the book. Now I want to round the edges because I think it looks better when these edges are rounded to go with these. So I want to show you what I did. These are the top mats that lay here, here, and here. I only rounded the top portion because it'll match that way. See how it fits in there perfect? So on those 4 pieces, I only did the top. Okay? But these other guys, I'm going to round all the corners. The ones for the middle are going to get all the corners rounded. They only need to be rounded on 2 sides as well. So I'm going to do the bottoms of those. like this and like this. So let me lay these here to make it make sense. So I've got the bottoms of these rounded, the tops of these, and then the entire body of this one. See that? So it makes more sense. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing with my middle pieces. I'm gonna move these guys out of the way. I'm trying to keep all of my stuff together too. These are my side pieces and I'm keeping my middle pieces over here. So these pieces are for the middle flap here. So what I wanna do here is the same thing, only corner around 2 corners. This one and this one. And now it'll lay here, front and back. It's gonna go here and I'm only gonna corner around top corners of that one. Whoops. So it'll lay here, okay? This piece is for the middle, and actually, even though we cut 2 pieces, we're only gonna need 1 piece because we won't mat underneath the pocket. So I'm only gonna use 1 piece of those, so I'm gonna pull one away. And you don't have to do that. You can use 2 pieces if you want. You can mat both sides, but I don't really see a need to mat both sides. So this piece goes here. The same thing happens here. You really only need 1 piece here, so you don't need this extra piece. But it's so much easier to cut it the way I just showed you than try to figure out 1 piece from the other piece, what have you. So when you go to mat, it'll make sense. Okay, so this guy goes here. So now all of those pieces are ready to glue down. So I'm gonna start in this top corner. I'm gonna put some glue onto my trim piece. I'm gonna place this one down, and you'll end up with about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. That's the idea. You want that second color to show. Now in my class, ladies did this with floral paper. Some of them did it with solid colors like I am. Some did it with black and white papers. That looked really, really cute too. Now, these 2 pieces do not fit here, remember? That's the middle section. So I'm gonna flip this guy over and they go on this side. So those are my top 2 flaps. Now I wanna do these, and you'll have 4 pieces because you'll have 2 pieces for here and 2 pieces for the other side. And you've already cut these pieces when you did that first section of cuts. Now that we have these done, I'm gonna flip it over and show you this side. We've done the outside pieces. Now let's do the middle pieces, and they'll go just like this. See how they lay in there? It takes a minute to wrap your head around this. Once you do, you can throw these things together so quick. Now, I'm doing it quick, but you need to understand, this is only like my 5th one I put together. So once you get going, they make sense and they get easier. Now for this middle section, this is the back of my album, okay? And I will show you what I mean by that. If I take this album and I open it up, this is the front. I'm gonna flip this over and we are working on the back. So I'm gonna mat the top and the middle, but I don't need to do this one because it's not gonna be there, okay? So I'm just gonna I've already got the top done, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the 1 big piece that I saved aside for the middle. Glue that guy down. So now we're going to do these sections, and these were the ones we cut first, remember? So we're going to take those, and there are 4 of them, and they're going to go just like this on all of those flaps. So I want you to see where we're at. We've got this side done, front and back, this side, front and back. So I'll just flip it over and show you so you'll be able to see exactly what's been done, and we did that middle piece. So we know this is not the pocket, but this side is the pocket. Now, if you want to do any decorating, stamping, or anything, you'd want to do that now. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go ahead and build my pocket. So here's what we'll do. We're going to fold this piece up on that score line, okay? And then this piece is going to fold back, and it's going to become the flap of the pocket. Now, I want to show you something I did, which is optional. I'm going to score this down real quick so it'll stay pretty good. Okay, this is totally optional. I trimmed my pocket a little bit smaller. You don't have to do that. I just trimmed it down because I thought it looked cute, but you can leave it just like it is, and I'm going to leave this one just like it is. Now we can mat these pieces. So you're going to have, from your cuts earlier, this piece for here, just like that. It goes down here. And then this piece is this guy, and it will go right there. Now it's time to make your pocket, if you want a pocket. I want to show you this. You don't have to do a pocket. You can leave this open and let it flap up. Go ahead and mat these with those 2 other pieces you've already got cut and make them photo spots as well. I'm going to make the pocket just so you can see how to do that. So here's what you'll do. You're going to slide this guy up. You're going to take your glue and you're going to run it right down two sides. This one and this one. And that's it. The only place the glue is going to go. Then you're going to close it up and seal that shut. And that will create your pocket. Now on mine, I glued this piece down. But I don't want to do that until I decide what I'm going to do here. I might want to put some decorative paper or something there. Now for the next step, we're going to take that same piece of paper that I did for you, the PDF. We're going to go back, and now we're going to do the second set. This first one are your two outside. This second one is your middle. Okay, so you're going to do it just like we did the front, but with whatever pieces you want your photos to lay on, okay? If you want them to be on white pieces, that's fine. If you want to put them on a pattern paper, you can do that as well. Now, you may decide you don't want to put photos on every one. Let's say at the top you just want to put some cute decorative paper. This is the time to do that too. You can put your decorative papers, you can put your matte papers, whatever you'd like to do, but your measurements for it are going to be here, okay? So I'm going to do probably a little mix of both pattern and knot, and we will meet right back together. So now, as you can see, I've got the front matted with white on either side, and then if we flip it over, I also did this little coordinating paper. I love this camera paper. It was given to me by Tracy Dennis, and I love it. So if you flip it over, look, I did a lot of the camera paper on the back because I thought it was cute. You can do anything you want, but one thing I want to show you is this. When you get to cutting this point, they are here. This says start with 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper, but because I wanted this piece to have a pattern and the inside piece to be solid white, I started with 1 piece of white and 1 piece of this cut to 8.5 by 11. So I still used 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper, but one was patterned and one was not. And you could always mix these up in and out, but I have a plan for this, so I want to show you. So I have a stamp set called Oh Snap, and in that stamp set comes these little picture frames, which I think are super cute. And I want to go around and put these guys on the back of my little pocket album like so, and then I can add some little sentiments here and there. Don't want these both to be down. I kind of like them like that. So I'm going to glue these guys down, and then I can add some little sentiments, and I saved one for the front or for the inside in case I wanted it. So what I'm going to do first though is I want to stamp these to say place photo here. Now that stamp comes from my stamp set called Action, and it's all in my store at maymaymadeit.com, and I'll have a link for it below too. So I'm using a little VersaFine and that place photo here stamp. And the reason I like to do this, if you're giving this as a gift and people are like, what do you do with this? Well, if you kind of lead them around with this, you say place photo here, they'll know what to do with it and they won't have to wonder. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp these here. And don't worry, because the picture is going to hide that, right? When you put the picture on, you won't see what we just stamped. So there's that. I'm also going to go through here, and on these 4 big ones, I'm going to do place photo here. So there's 1, 2, and then at the bottom, 3. And when someone gets this, they just measure the spot and they'll know where to put their pictures. Now here, I want to use a different stamp. I have one from my set called Oh Snap Friends. It's the companion set, and it has this little camera, which I think is perfect for this little book. So we're going to put a little camera on. And I love the black and white. I love how everything pops like that. So there's that one. And then the next thing I'm going to do, there are all these little sayings, and I think it'll be cute like if I add something here. So let's see what we want to add. I love the word bliss. Let's add bliss. So just pick it up, and I have double loaded it. I have that place photo here on one side. And then do I want to put bliss here? I think I'll put it over here. Now this little word says snapshot, and I think it'll be cute right up here. Kind of at an angle like that, super cute. And I'll put something here. So I cut 4 of these out, so 3 are for the back, and this one I'm going to put right here. I think it'll be cute, just slid down in there, and they can put a little picture right there, and it'll be adorable. So let's flip this over, and I'm going to glue these guys into place. So you can see I put those little guys on, and I did some stamping in the little Polaroid section, and now we can start folding. So these guys get folded up, and I'm going to take my scoreboard or my bone folder, and I'm just going to score those down or crease those down. So I'm going to fold this one up just like so, and then these guys just fold in on top of that. They kind of look like a little wallet. Now, of course, you can decorate inside of here too and put all kinds of cute little embellishments. This then closes in, okay? And this side closes in. Either side doesn't matter. You have the same gusset on either side, and you decide what is your front. I think this will make a cute front here, or you can make this the front, either one, but I'm gonna let this be the front. For the belly band, I'm just gonna take a piece of ribbon, wrap it around the book, and you don't have to be specific about where you place it just yet. Just give yourself enough ribbon to tie a bow, and you want to tie it kind of loose. You don't want it to be super tight because you want it to be able to slide on and off. So something like this. Now, because this is going to be sliding on and off, you want to make sure you treat the edges of your ribbon with some fray check or something like that, so you make sure that it doesn't fray over time. But that's pretty much it. That's the little guy, and this holds it together, and that's your little album. So you slide this off, and then when you give it to someone, or if you keep it for yourself or your purse, they open it up, and look at all the cool things they have in there. It's super fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I think it was super cool. If you remake this album or any one or any project, I sure would love to see it. Look, I'm going to put this at the top this time to show you the difference. I sure would love to see it. Share it with us over on our Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. We would love to see what you guys are making and what you're up to. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.